Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Membership Voice. I'm Kero O'Shea, the coordinator of The Voice and the host for this evening's webinar. A very special welcome to tonight's presenter, District Rotaract Representative 9510, Lenard Sciancalepore from Adelaide University Rotaract. Hey, Lenard, how are you?
Very well, Kero. Thanks very much for inviting me to be here.
It's great to have you here. It's important at this stage for me to acknowledge the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, who are the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm hosting tonight's webinar. I acknowledge the strength of their continuing culture and offer my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and I'm really looking forward to working with the community as a volunteer during Reconciliation Week from 27 May to the 3rd of June. But now for the highlight of the evening, tonight's presentation, Building a Rotaract Colossus, to be presented by District Rotaract Rep Lenard Sciancalepore. Over to you, please, Lenard.
Thank you very much, Kiro. Here we go. Okay, this is our story, the story of the Adelaide University Rotaract Club, where we are now, where we're going, and how we got here. So featuring club mascot Giraffe the Giraffe, who is our illustrious, a beautiful member of ours from sub-Saharan Africa. Giraffe came to us from the Minato Zoo by the wonderful Rotary liaison from our club, Mr. Mike Stevens. So shout out to Mike as well for being such a fantastic mentor to our club. We wouldn't be here without the support of Rotarians like Mike. So, all right, let's kick off. So what is Rotaract? I think people already know what Rotaract is, but for those who don't, it's the younger people's version of Rotary. It means Rotary in Action, began in 1968, Charlotte, North Carolina. Elevate Rotaract has also meant that Rotaractors themselves are now members of Rotary. We're no longer a Rotary Club program or a program of Rotary International. We're its own membership type. So we are Rotarians essentially. There are a whole bunch of other really important changes with Elevate Rotaract that came along, but that's for another day. So Adelaide Uni Rotaract began its journey on the 24th of March, 2010. It had a bit of a rocky start, and as you can see from a lot of the faces of our club, we're a very diverse, multiculturally diverse Rotaract club, and we always have been, comprised mostly of international students, but also others from around Adelaide. So we've also been proudly sponsored by the Rotary Club of Adelaide, who have been a tremendous help and continue that support to this day. So what motivated me to become involved with Rotaract in general? Well, it started in 2016. My dad received a phone call from the United Nations. Sorry, I take that back. He received a phone call from London. The phone rang, said it was calling from London, and he answered and said, on the other side of the phone was a man named Michael. Michael said, hi, I'm wanting to get my kitchen renovated in Adelaide. I see that you're a kitchen renovator. I'm currently in London, based in New York, but I have a house in Adelaide. Are you able to renovate my kitchen for me? Michael said, yes, no worries. Dad said, yes, no worries. I just need an email address. And it was Michael blah, blah, blah at unfpa.org. Dad remembered what I was studying and was like, oh, that's not United Nations by any chance, is it? Michael said, yes. So we ended up connecting and on the 26th of December, 2016. And he goes to me, Lenard, if you want to work with the UN one day, join Rotary. So I thought, well, what's Rotary? Is that a yacht club? So because I had no idea what Rotary was. I Googled the Rotary. I just went on to Google that night. I typed Rotary Adelaide. First thing that came up was the Rotary Club of Adelaide. And I saw their membership fees and I emailed them and they said, yeah, no worries. Membership fees are $250 a year. I said, no, thank you. I am a student and that will not work for me. So I thought it was over from there and I just have to find another way. But I received a phone call from their membership director, Heidi Unverdorben, who's now the immediate past president. And Heidi told me that there was a younger people's version of Rotary at the university. I was a student there. That seemed like a good fit. So I came and I got involved and I fell in love with it. My motivations changed from just wanting to be involved with the UN, and that's why I was in Rotary, to what a powerful concept it is to be surrounded by young people and have them share the same passion, dreams, and motivation to get things done in the community and help others. And so it's deeply inspired me, and that's why I continue to stay. So who are we? Well, we have 45 members. We have 11 friends of the club and 56 members and friends in total. We have 3 honorary members, and we have 27 diverse ethnicities. We're probably the most multicultural Rotaract club in the zone. And we're also a diverse in ages, socioeconomic backgrounds, family statuses, genders, and sexualities. This is a little ethnic diversity wheel that was literally just updated today. And we're just a mosaic. We are a mini United Nations in our own club anyway. So when I first got involved with Adelaide Uni Rotaract, there was very much I suppose, a student type mentality of we are uni students, we are poor. And while that's definitely true, university students are struggling, of course, but what we found was that if we change the narrative from decrease cost to elevate value, what could happen? So we created a value proposition where we started to think to ourselves, why is Rotaract valuable? What makes us valuable? What sets us apart from other organizations that are out there? And we listed these things. And those documents are publicly available now as well. I can even probably share them. I've got it here. So this is our membership benefits. This is our value proposition. So what benefits do members gain? We have changed our fees from $10 a year to $50 a year, but we very much justified it. And so a vote at our general and special meetings, an official membership certificate, membership badge, international connections. But then there's things like this. So the sponsorships to the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, which is valued at $850 alone. There's subsidized sponsorships to annual fundraiser event, Cultural Night, which I'll talk about later. And there's many other benefits that you can have by being involved with the club. So by creating structure and putting things like this onto paper, we ended up being able to wrap Adelaide Uni Rotaract in a lot of support that way. So I'll continue to kind of share things like that as I go. All right, so the ingredients for AURC that made us thrive are good leadership plus good governance and structure equals progress. University clubs tend to struggle a bit because there isn't really a lot of structure to them. Unlike the Rotary clubs that have been running sometimes for many decades, we found that with university clubs, they're not too different. They just need things in writing, and for the leadership as well to hold those policies and things in high regard. So we had many instances where we needed to create a code of conduct because we were having some behavior in the club that was quite conflicting, and it didn't really result in some very good relationships. So we needed to create a policy around that. It's basically all been a lot about problem solving. There's a problem in the club, okay, can we create a policy or something that can address it in a sustainable way? We've been able to do this as well with succession planning. So we created our AGM and shadow policy, where the idea is if you have new members that are coming in and they want to elevate into executive positions, rather than just throwing in the deep end straight away, we give them a 3-month shadow period where they essentially are mentored by the current executive team to step into that role. And so they're mentored through that process. And then at the end of the shadow period, then the executive kind of review and they say, is this person a good fit for the executive team? 9 times out of 10 they are. But yeah, things like that can help with succession planning and elevating new leaders to come into the club. So the other thing that's really helped us is starting with why. So people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. It's no good telling us what Rotarians do when you're talking to people about it. You know, you can go say, oh yeah, I'm a member of Rotary, I'm a member of Rotaract, but tell me why. Why are you involved? What keeps you there? What motivates you? What gets you excited? People will listen to that. And we found that if we can continue to inspire other Rotaractors in the club then they're going to grab hold of their sense of why and find their sense of purpose. And then that's going to spread and spread and spread. And I was at a Pakistani event not just this weekend. And I was talking to a young Pakistani guy who goes, oh yeah, I'm a member of, I'm a Adelaide Uni student. I thought you looked familiar. You're from the Rotaract Club, aren't you? You guys are famous. And to get that kind of feedback from when you've joined a club and you've seen it grow over the years, I came into the club, it was 5 active members, 11 members in total. And now to see that we're one of the largest Rotaract clubs in the zone, that are accomplishing incredible feats of service, from tree planting and environmental projects to assisting with the multicultural communities. It is so motivating and inspiring. So start with why. So on that note, you might be wondering, well, what makes Adelaide Uni Rotaract so great? What the hell do you guys do? We've got a bunch of different things. So now that we've got winter coming up, we are participating in the Franz Farm Tree Planting Festival, where over the last couple of years, we've quite literally planted thousands of trees. I think the first year we got involved was 2019. We planted 1,000 trees. The next year was 2,000. And we're going to be getting involved again in this July. We're hoping to crack that record. So I want to kind of point out as well the young man in the top left-hand photo. That is the first founding president of Adelaide Uni Rotaract from 2010. That photo was taken in 2010. His name's Ramanathan Turiraju. He's currently a Rotary Peace Fellow as well. And that was him tree planting down by the Torrens River. On the right hand is our former secretary, Jasmina Banu, as well, one of my closest friends. And those photos are 10 years apart. We have down here in the couple bottom photos, some Rotaractors doing Torrens River cleanups, where we've cleaned up just over 300 kilos of rubbish from the Torrens River on our monthly cleanups. So we do a lot of environmental projects as well. So like I mentioned before, the photos from 2010 versus 2020 and where they were now. So you can actually see the difference that the Rotaractors have made to that small little area. And something that kind of springs to mind is that old adage of the man who's walking along a beach and he's throwing starfish into the sea. He goes, oh, but it doesn't make a difference to that one, but we're making a difference in small, impactful ways. And that's what Rotary and Rotaract's all about. We've also partnered with organizations like the Friends of the Urbray Wetlands and the Rotary Club of Unley to install bird boxes up in trees. We also have a project called Bread Tags for Wheelchairs. So the whole idea to this is to take plastics out of our oceans and out of our waste system. So we need to collect 200 kilos of bread tags before December this year. That needs to be updated, that poster. But the idea is that we take those bread tags, we then send them to a recycling business in Robe. We then repurpose the tags into bowls, doorknobs, and other products. And then that takes that plastic waste out of landfill. So we have another focus on mental health in the university, being a university student club. Many university students tend to be bogged down with a lot of mental health issues. So we find creative ways to meet that need and meet that need more generally in the community as well. These are some other photos from an event that we did about mindfulness. But then we also have community service projects that we do. So we do blood donation drives and we go and help Rotary clubs with their barbecues, yes. But we also show what we're doing with the funds that we raise from barbecues. You see, we don't want to be showing, snags on a barbecue and using that in a Facebook post or anything. We want to be showing where are the funds going. So we make sure we're really transparent with everything, every amount of money that's raised, and we show where that money's going. Because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Professional development workshops. This is something that kind of sets us apart a bit more from Rotary, where if you can think of them more as established professionals who have quite a breadth of working life and professional life, Adelaide Uni Rotaractors and Rotaractors in general are more or less emerging professionals. So we're people that are more wanting to, yes, get mentored, understand a bit more about public speaking and resume tips. And how to do networking and that kind of thing in a professional environment. So we practice that and we cultivate that culture of learning in our club. You're always learning when you're in Rotaract. Multiculturalism. So we, being a very multicultural club, want to reflect the community that we have established ourselves in. So we have a range of different multicultural projects that we run, from Rotaract cooking classes to cultural night, which I'm going to be talking about now. So the Rotaract cooking classes, this is something that emerged in COVID. So the idea was that members, when they were alone, they were isolated in COVID, they were only meeting via Zoom. So we thought, well, what if we connected with multicultural organizations and then they taught us how to make a traditional dish from their culture? So we got them online, and the top left, actually, Shuji Ozeki is from Seki, Japan. So that photo is from Japan. We got him online. He's a former Rotary Youth Exchange student. When we were able to connect with him, and he taught us how to make a Japanese hot pot dish called sukiyaki. We've worked with the Sierra Leone Women's Association of SA, the East Turkestan Australian Association, the Latin Americans, the Mexican community, the Muslim Australian Connections Association, and the Thai community. So we've got really, really established connections in the multicultural community groups. But in doing that, people get to know what we do. It's no use expecting people to come to you. You need to go out into the community if you want people to understand what Rotary and Rotaract is. So, Cultural Night. Cultural Night is an event that started in 2017. I'm very proud. This is my passion project. I started it with the idea of, well, we're very much international students. How can we create an event that reflects that and that celebrates that diversity? So the idea came up of, what if we were to get everyone together in the same room and just do a kind of a shared meal type evening. People can come in their best dressed. We'll give away some prizes, but then it's exploded, and we've doubled it as a charity fundraiser. And now, today, it's South Australia's largest youth-led multicultural festival. And we've got politicians in Parliament that are talking about this event, and they're very much recognizing it as a growing, iconic South Australian event. So watch this space. Cultural Night is going to be up there with WOMAD, with AusAsia, with the Fringe, and it's going to be taking the Rotary and Rotaract clubs along with them. So Cultural Night, watch this space. And I've got a couple of videos as well that I want to show. This is the impact that we were able to have. These students are from Iraqi Kurdistan, and the funds that we raised were able to supply all of these students with new uniforms. It's about 300 students with new uniforms from Cultural Night 2018. I tell you, I'll just pause that. As a young leader, when you're starting to see these smiling faces and see what an impact you were able to have on someone and on a range of people that you never ever meet, that changes you and it inspires you to just keep going. So this is a video that we had from Cultural Night 2021.
Hi Sigrid, how are you? To say that I have some very good news. Sigrid, No Barriers Education Foundation is going to be the principal charity for Cultural Night 2021!
opportunity lies outside your comfort zone. That's very much become a Adelaide Uni Rotaract Club mantra. I know a lot of the club members, we would mention that phrase at every single meeting. And we found that that's been something that they've clung onto, and it's really inspired them to continue going. Rotaract clubs and Rotary clubs are made up of their members. So if you want to build a Rotary and Rotaract Club Colossus, what are we doing to the members to inspire them and to motivate them? So I encourage you to adopt the club mantra like that. This was Cultural Night itself in 2021. That might not be working. Oh, wait, no, hold on. It is working. It's okay. Let's try that again. Cultural Night. So this is a story that I want to share as well from Cultural Night 2019. The man on the far left, his name is Ibrahim. Ibrahim is from the African Students Association at the Uni Adelaide. And the outfit that he's wearing, he went to his parents and he asked them, Mum, Dad, I'm going to be participating in this event. Can I borrow your cultural clothes to wear at the event and to represent Eritrea? And his parents just broke down. They cried because they saw that their young man was getting involved and representing his heritage. And we're bringing families together. We're providing young people from multicultural backgrounds, the opportunity to be proud of their cultural heritage. We're bridging gaps between those generations and continuing the traditions and customs that every one of us hold dearly within us. So, aside from Cultural Night and multiculturalism, we have a lot of fun in Adelaide Uni Rotaract. We're all volunteers after all. If you're not having fun while you're volunteering, why the hell are you volunteering? And what are you getting out of it? You need to be having fun when you're volunteering. We have a very big emphasis on fun in Adelaide Uni Rotaract. So we do that through social nights once a month. We'll do that through barbecues, but also those little interpersonal relationships that we have in the club. Are you creating a culture of welcome and fun in your club that's going to want to entice people to come back and then also ultimately spread the word? A lot of marketing is done through word of mouth. So create a solid product and the rest of the marketing will be done for you. Now, Finding opportunity is the matter of believing it's there. It's a lot about mindset. Creating a Rotaract Colossus needs a growth mindset. If you're going to be growing a business or a club itself, we need to be approaching it in the right way. So looking at, rather than barriers or that kind of thing, we need to be having a mindset of opportunity, and always keeping an eye out for that and listening to the hooks in every conversation that might lead on to another volunteering opportunity or even another member to your club. Now, partnerships. Partnerships have been hugely important for Adelaide Uni Rotaract and our success. So to build a successful partnership, it needs to be mutually beneficial and closely managed with an emphasis on growing trust. We've got really good relationships with a lot of the Rotary clubs in our district because we were able to build it from a idea of this is something that is going to be benefiting both of our clubs. So you guys need help with a barbecue fundraiser or something? Okay, no worries. We'll provide some of the labor and some of the help with that, but are we able to do a percentage of the profits that go towards supporting our community projects? A lot of the time they'll say, yes, no worries, it's an awesome idea, and it becomes mutually beneficial. The Rotary clubs that are there at Bunnings or wherever might be seeing that you have younger people that are coming in or other people, and they see a young face to the Rotary name. That is important for branding and recognition and that kind of thing. And also, Adelaide Uni Rotaractors are able to do a bit of fundraising to help their community projects and initiatives. So that's just one example, but we've had many instances where we've been able to also use our vocational skills, not just our hands. We've had one of our past marketing directors, his name's Gurkarat Singh. Singh has gone and helped Rotary clubs with developing their websites and things like that. Rotaractors have a bit of knowledge, and mentoring definitely goes both ways. So I'd encourage Rotary clubs and Rotaract clubs to think of ways that you can create mutually beneficial relationships with an emphasis on growing trust. All in all, I could talk yonks and ages about Adelaide Uni Rotaract, and that really is just the tip of the iceberg, but I might have to leave it there in terms of time. I'd encourage you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, get up to date with our social media, find out what we're doing, and see how we can support Rotaract, start a club, and work together. Everyone, thank you very much for having me. Kiro, I'll hand it back to you.
Super. Thank you, Lenard. Wonderful presentation there. And to lead off our questions, I'd like to invite Sam Wilkins, the president of the Northern Beaches Rotaract Club, to put her question to you, please.
So, hello everybody. My name's Sam Wilkins. I'm the president of Northern Beaches Rotaract Club in Sydney, and our club hasn't done very well over the COVID period, and we've lost quite a few members. And I just sort of wanted to ask if you had any suggestions on what you could give me and to help rebuild the club.
Okay. President Northern Beaches Rotaract in Sydney. Okay, so that's a community-based club then, I'm assuming?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so where do you source a lot of your members from?
So previously we've had a lot of members come from Ryla, but that's been cancelled the last few years, which hasn't helped, and word of mouth. Word of mouth. All right. Okay. Are you in touch with your local council at all? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess, I mean, I don't have all of the answers, but being a university-based club, we're quite different to a community-based club where we've got direct access to our target market being students in the University of Adelaide. I can imagine it would be a lot harder for community-based clubs to go out and source members. But I guess it really is just about getting out there and doing things. Is kind of the best way. And I suppose even shopping centers. I mean, one project that comes to mind is I've seen a Rotary, I think it was a Rotary or Rotaract club, but going to a shopping center and just asking people to donate goods, for example. So like if they can donate some cereal or whatever, and then taking that amount and then donating it to a food bank or something like that. Shopping centres might be a good way to get out there into the community, and it puts a Rotary brand and Rotaract out there. So I think what I've learned from Adelaide Uni Rotaract is get out there and go into the community. But in order to do that, you also need to have really good branding and public image things. So things like a tablecloth with good graphic that's been really well designed with I mean, I don't know if you saw our club tablecloth in some of the photos, but we have a nice big pink cranberry tablecloth with big fat white letters of Adelaide Uni Rotaract Club splayed across it with the correct branding. So it's bright, it's attractive. A lot of the banners that we have as well are really bright and in brand with the Rotaract colors. So what are you guys doing to stand out, I suppose, from the crowd and attract attention? I think it then comes down to as well like flyers and brochures, but building a product first before you market it is going to be really important. So I suppose I'd encourage that. Build the product first before you go out and market it.
Okay.
Does that help, Sam?
Yeah, that helps. Thank you very much for your suggestion.
No worries. I'm happy to chat more if you want. I've got a couple ideas, so I'm happy to swap details if you want.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
Sam, thanks, Sam, and thanks, Lenard. Sam, just a thought. Have you spoken with your sponsoring Rotary Club? Because they have a responsibility.
Yeah, I've spoken with the clubs that are sponsoring, and I'm trying to work with them to help revitalise the club. So that's a work in progress.
We do have a couple. Sorry, go on, Lenard.
I was going to ask Sam, do you guys have a strategic plan?
We would have had one years ago. That's one of the I've got our local DRR who's helping me do. We've been working on strategic planning, that type of thing over the past few months. So it's work in progress. That's another thing that's work in progress.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because that could be a really good motivator to get people enticed and wanting to join, because people are motivated towards a cause. We're seeing that a lot with younger people who are getting involved in Rotaract and in Rotary. They're not really wanting to join a traditional Rotary club as such, but they're really wanting to get involved in working towards a cause or a goal. So if you can create some goals and causes in your club that you're passionate about, maybe that might help with inspiring and attracting some more people to come join on that cause with you. Yeah.
I mean, that's something we're working on. Trying to do a bush cleanup once a month in some of our local bushland around the area, and there's one of our courses we're working on at the moment. So
cleaning's good. A smart goal for that might sound like us at Northern Beaches Rotaract intend to clean up 200 kilos of trash from the area around us by September this year. Or you can even align it with a World Environment Day or something like that. Help us reach that goal. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Lenard.
Sam, we've got a couple of other. We don't have a huge number of Rotaract stories in the Membership Voice Library, but we do have some pretty good contributions there. Swan Rotaract and there are a couple of others. There are a couple of other stories there, and the contributors from those stories are still in Rotaract, still supporting Rotaract clubs. Maybe I could send you the links to those and introduce you to the people who helped build those clubs, because I'm sure they'd have some ideas.
Yeah, that'd be great as well.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that for sure.
All right.
Lenard, thank you, Sam. I've got a question for you. And I'm sure that some in the audience would be aware of where I'm coming from with this. We've had a number of recent best practice stories that have pointed to the price of Rotary versus the price of Rotaract as being like, we get about 5% of Rotaractors moving to Rotary. Your typical Rotaract club cost, as yours does, about $50 a year. Your typical Rotary club, on the other hand, is, say, around $300 a year. Is that ongoing difference an impediment to Rotaractors being attracted to Rotary?
I would say definitely. I think if you're wanting younger people to come and join your club, it's really important to kind of be putting yourself into their shoes as well. If they're already a Rotaractor and say they're paying $50 a year to be a member of their Rotaract Club, and they're already getting a lot of the experience of Rotary already as it stands. There's the fellowship and networking that they're getting with Rotarians. There's the access to community projects and creative ways to meet them with a like-minded group of young people. There's a lot of the things that Rotary does offer, but that Rotaract also does offer at a lower rate. So there needs to be something a bit more that's going to be enticing us. And cost does tend to be a pretty big barrier if we're going to be joining a Rotary Club. Personally, I'm not involved in a Rotary Club just yet because of the Rotary Peace Fellowship. That's something that I would absolutely love to do, but you can't be a Rotarian and do the Peace Fellowship unless you have not been a member of a Rotary Club for at least 36 months from the time that you've started the fellowship. So that's what's holding me back. Otherwise, I absolutely would be a member of a Rotary and Rotaract Club. Purely because, though, I have a really good relationship with the members of my sponsor club, the Rotary Club of Adelaide. They've also supported me endlessly over the years. They sponsored me to go to RILA. They've been awesome sponsors to Cultural Night. They've mentored me. They've supported me in many different ways. And I feel indebted to go back to their club also because they have really, it's held at the Adelaide Oval. You get a really awesome meal. They've got a great speaker program. But the types of people that they're attracting are actually really good for networking alone. So for someone, I guess, I'm wanting to turn Cultural Night into a bit of a bigger thing. And there are many key figures in Rotary Adelaide that are able to support that vision and support that dream. So that's what I would get out of being a Rotary Adelaide member. I'm being surrounded with people that support my dreams.
One of the things that some Rotary and Rotaract clubs have difficulty in doing is differentiating between the benefits for members and, say, friends. How do you do that? Like, I mean, your Rotaractors pay $50, your friends pay $10. Where's the value difference?
Okay. Yeah, right. So when it comes to being a friend of the club, yes, there are some benefits, but we found that by making it just not super exclusive, but just a little bit exclusive does elevate value. We don't want to decrease cost too much, but we want to elevate value. Now, $50 a year, realistically, isn't a huge amount. If we've got enough value to be able to justify it. Now, what we're even thinking of is we might even do $50 for the first year and then maybe even $30 in all of the years moving after that, just to be able to cover some initial costs. Now, where is the value in terms of a friend of the club or a member of the club? We really try to emphasize about how if you're a member of the club, you have access to free social nights, free professional development workshops. And then when we do have those professional development workshops, we say $5 for non-members and friends. So in that way, we're actually saying, you know what, if you're a member of the club, you earn it off really, really quickly. And the $50 all of a sudden is no huge amount. The amount of discounts that we provide for members is huge, especially to Cultural Night. Cultural Night last year, tickets were $40 for everyone. But for Rotaractors specifically, we made them $25. So all of I can't do my maths properly, but like that's already a big saving. So yeah, let's find out ways that you can elevate value rather than decreasing cost. But yeah, creating value is what it's all about, being a Rotaract member.
Earlier, when we were discussing it earlier in your presentation, you mentioned that the Adelaide Uni Rotaract had been through a bit of a rebuild. What's the biggest mistake that someone renovating a Rotaract club is likely to make?
Oh boy. So when you're, so I was kind of the defibrillator, I suppose, that came into the club, and I had a very different leadership style back then. It was I caused a lot of I was going against the grain because it wasn't what they had done, and I was going up against established club cultures, established club mentalities, and that kind of thing. So that has been a huge learning curve for me, and I wouldn't recommend doing it again. But it's very much about club buy-in. I think that unless you have club buy-in and everyone can see the problems at hand, then it's going to be pretty tough. I think a strategic plan is so important because it does exactly that. It gets club buy-in from every single one of the members that are there. So in a strategic planning session, that's a really prime opportunity to identify your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And that is where you uncover what do we need to do to change and get us out from the situation that we're currently in. So yeah, I wish, I guess, back then that I had done a strategic plan, looked at the weaknesses, the opportunities and threats through that kind of lens. Yeah, that was a pretty big mistake that I made. But you live and you learn, you create policies, and it is what it is. So yeah.
Thank you.
Linda Sweeney here. I'm a Rotarian and president of the Hillary's Rotary Club in Perth, WA. We did have a Rotaract. Well, we're still registered because we have a couple of members left. But like you said, unfortunately, it was going really well. But then, some members decided that they didn't need mentoring anymore and leave them alone. But anyway, one thing led to another, and they eventually disbanded because they put somebody in as the president without even consulting the president that was in at the time. So what I want to ask you is, with your club, do you have a meeting place that you can meet at?
Yes, we do.
And is that through university?
Yes, so that's at the Hartley building on Kintore Avenue within the university itself.
Right.
We usually structure a monthly meeting plan according to the ethos of Rotaract, which is help, learn, enjoy. So the idea is on the first meeting of the month, we'll have which is help. We'll have maybe a general meeting where we'll talk about some opportunities and creative ways where we can help the community and identify issues, that kind of thing. Second is learn. So then we'll do a professional development workshop and we'll learn from a particular skill. I'm delivering a professional development workshop next week on public speaking, for example. So in the third Thursday of the month, we'll probably do another general meeting and talk about some ideas or form an action plan, for example, on how to carry out a service project. And the last meeting of the month, that's when we'll have our social. So we might do that on a Saturday or go hiking in Morialta, for example. Structure tends to be a lot of the main thing that Rotaract clubs miss when they are initially starting up. It's a mix between structure, good leadership, good mentoring, which goes both ways as well. So yeah, does that help?
Yeah. Also, with using university, with your cultural night, the event that you have, do you have to hire a venue?
Yes, we do.
You do. And do you get any, being a Rotaract club, do you get any benefits from the local shires with hiring a venue?
As in local councils and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So with a local council, we I suppose we haven't really gone. I suppose that's definitely an opportunity for Cultural Night and probably something that we'd be doing either this year or next year. or this year and next year, is kind of developing a bit more of a relationship with the local councils in the area. Culture Night's been going now for about 4 years, so it's still quite reasonably in the early days, but we definitely do get a lot of support from Rotary clubs and private, businesses and stuff like that, or the businesses of Rotarians from certain industries and that kind of thing, like the international students, international education industry, for example.
Yeah, because obviously, as well as making the plans, strategic plans, and finding the opportunities, sometimes there is a cost involved, like to hire a hall or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. No, Culture Night last year cost about 10 grand. But we were able to get all of that fully sponsored. And so as a result, all of the funds that we raised were able to go to the charity. So, we were very, very stringent with a lot of the stuff that we were able to get involved. So, for example, all of the decorations that you saw in the video, completely 100% donated by the community. All of them, we had cultural groups and different members of the community donating flags and buntings and decorations, and we sourced all of that through our networks and connections. So we didn't spend a single cent on decorations.
No.
And that saved us a lot of money as well. So yeah.
And I've thoroughly enjoyed
it takes a year to plan, by the way. Cultural Night has always taken a year to plan.
Oh yeah, look, our Rotary Club, we run a community fair every year, which is our biggest fundraiser. But of course, we haven't been able to do it since 2019 because of all the restrictions, the COVID restrictions, and also because it's an open space that we use.
Right.
And it was just too much of a risk, financial risk. Let's say 2019, we were all ready to go, and then when they put out the no more than 500 in no time at all, and that had taken us virtually 12 months in preparation, but we had to cancel and lost a lot of money because we'd already had marquees put up and toilets delivered and all that sort of thing. So we've really looked at it the last couple of years, and we've decided that it's not worth the financial risk at the moment, But as I say, there's other ways we can. And that was our biggest fundraiser for the year. We'd make anything between 28 to 30,000 on the day. Admittedly, the planning goes in and, sort of type of thing. And also we did get a grant to help us stage it with one of the councils. But but as I say, that funds all our club programs, youth programs, and exchange students, and all the things that we do, and say in the community, we do a lot. I know that. We do a lot of hands-on. We just a couple of weeks ago planted 150 plants at a special school.
Well done.
All the plants were donated. We've got all the plants, so they didn't have to pay for the plants. So as I make meals for the Salvation Army, they collect them every week to give out to the communities. We help on car park issue, volunteer car parking, big shows and things. So we try and get Rotary out there in the community as much as we can. But you're very, very right. You've got to get out there and do it for yourself. You've really got to, you really have to. The same in schools, the same in the schools, with the programs we put into the schools. You've got to make that relationship. You've got to make that that meeting, that bonding, or make them aware, because we still. And again, you've got to have the members that are enthusiastic. That's the other thing as well. So. But your talk was absolutely excellent. It's just so enlightening.
Thank you.
To listen of just how it can be done, and things we're not doing. There's lots of things there that like you said, that probably Rotaract clubs are not doing. you know. And I think sometimes we get a bit complacent if things happen, or, you know, and I think that's what happened, you know, with ours. But hopefully we're back on track and we're starting to, and one of the chaps is at uni. So he's, you know, he's sort of been recruiting a lot, but we had to cancel our show. We had an information night, a Rotaract information night, and we had to cancel it because of the restrictions for where we had the venue. So, but anyway, we'll reschedule that, and yeah, hopefully before he goes off on his Colombo plan, his Commonwealth Colombo plan that he's been accepted. Yeah, he can get it up and going.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, but thank you anyway, Leonard. Thank you.
No worries.
Thanks, Linda. Thanks, Leonard. Well, at this stage, Leonard, I might ask you that question that we foreshadowed earlier on. District Rotaract Representative Leonard, why are you in Rotaract?
Why am I in Rotaract? Yep.
Yes.
So, why do I stay? It is just the most motivating thing that I find it just to be the gift that keeps on giving, frankly. I've tied in with it with Cultural Night. It's something that I have been, it's Cultural Night, frankly. Cultural Night is my main motivator for pretty much everything. It's meant that I've been able to surround myself with a community that has been able to share the same vision and dream, and they've had that buy-in, and they themselves have become incredibly inspired from it. And to be able to, I guess, have the opportunity to lead a group of young people that are then also developing themselves by going through the motions of even creating a charity fundraiser like Cultural Night, and then seeing their faces when they've been working and having meetings over the last year, and then it's all over in 3.5 hours, but it's the most magical event. And you've brought an entire community together, and you've got performances happening, and there's smells of the different Ethiopian coffee roasting and all of that different thing. It is just the most magical experience like I've ever had. And it's just inspired me to keep going and to keep motivating more young people to share in that dream and to help it grow. So that's why I stay, and I'm just excited to see what's yet to come.
Fantastic. Thank you, Leonard. Well done, Leonard. Thank you for that. Absolutely magic.
Good job, Leonard. It was a great presentation.
Thanks, dude. Thanks for being here.
That's our webinar done for this evening. So, Linda and Gareth, thank you for being with us. Thank you, everyone. It has been great. And thank you again, Leonard.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me.